Blah, 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 blah. Spin. Satazius.
Here it is. It's on the PAL release of the Shmup Collection by Astroport. It's right there. It's right there. There it is, right there. Now, Satazius, or Satazius Next, which is the updated version, which I played, was originally a Dreamcast homebrew game before getting ported on this collection. Astroport did a lot of these sort of homebrew shoot-'em-ups, and this is one of their classic ones. Now, this game is highly influenced by classic Gradius and R-Type, both of which I'm very familiar and have gotten the freaking 1 credit clear, meaning I beat the game without having to continue on both of those. In this, you select a loadout that can be upgraded throughout the run by grabbing power-up icons and like the corresponding color. And of course, obviously, you can switch this loadout between stages, and some of the stages really hinge on what you pick. You need to know what's the correct loadout to get through the stage. Now, there is a lot of different variety in these weapons that change up the gameplay a lot, and I enjoy that. Some games where you have a loadout, it doesn't really matter what you pick. You just pick what you like, and this one, it can have a detrimental effect on you if you pick the wrong freaking item. Now, this game, like I said, shares its DNA with Gradius, and one of the main features of this is the environmental hazards. Crashing into walls, booby traps, which are like things falling on you from the ceiling, space debris, crap flying into you, that sort of stuff. It's like the main focus of this game, and it requires a lot of precise and split-second movement. And this is present in Gradius and R-Type, but it feels really amped up in this game. Like, it's not like a set piece that happens occasionally, it's a constant thing that's going on in every level. Of course, you're gonna die a lot in this game, but luckily it doesn't ruin your run very much like it does in Gradius. You don't lose all your power-ups, you just get a slight downgrade. So Gradius syndrome is mostly gone on the lower difficulties. And if you don't know what Gradius syndrome is, it's a term we use in shoot-'em-ups to describe when you get really powered up and the game is designed around you being fully powered up. So if you die and you lose your power-ups, the game will throw so many enemies at you, there's no way to take them down. You have to start the game over. And thankfully, that's not so bad here. What is present though is this really irritating mechanic of your power-ups just depleting over time. They're constantly running out and getting weaker, forcing you to continually grab power-ups to keep them topped off like a tank of gas. And I don't really like that, because instead of just sitting back and dodging and shooting, you're always worrying about positioning yourself in a way where you can get the power-ups. And they are floating around the screen and drifting around and all this, and sometimes you have to put yourself in danger to grab that power-up to your sub-weapon or something you need so you can succeed. And unlike some of the other Astroport games I played, this one's pretty challenging. It'll give you a bit of a run for your money even on like the easiest setting. The graphics of it have like this Amiga feel to them. They're very European looking, and accompanying that is the game's soundtrack, which is also very European feeling. It is like techno that you would hear a lot in these European style Amiga computer games from the 80s and 90s. However, there are some orchestral parts in this game, and those pieces are fantastic. I wish the entire soundtrack had gone down that route. It would have been probably very expensive, but they are memorable, hum-along bangers. They are fantastic. They really are. This is one of the better Astroport games I have played, and I think they were kind of firing on all cylinders here, but there are some flaws. The main one is that the boss fights in this game are like a joke. Most of the bosses are just killed like with one charge of a super attack. You just charge up your super attack through the whole stage, you get to the boss, you just unload it and just take them out. You don't really have to learn their patterns, and that's what the fun is in a lot of shoot-'em-ups, is learning the patterns to, you know, progress in the game. You don't want to just go in there and like trump card them and just blow them out of the water. Not every time. Sometimes that's fun, but like not on every boss. And I mentioned the Gradius syndrome earlier. On the higher difficulties, it is very present. You're so overwhelmed by enemies that when you die, you don't really have the opportunity or the space to collect more power-ups. So you just have to start your run over, which is not that great in a game that's this long. And this is a fairly long shoot-'em-up, coming in at over like half an hour, which is long for like an arcade style game. There are also these strange difficulty spikes in the game where you will go through 80% of the game with no issues, and then there will be just this one little small maneuvering area and you'll die like 7 times on it in a row. No matter how many times you practice it, you just will always die there, and I kind of hate that. It's like getting sucker punched. It feels like taking a test in school and you get like a perfect score, like on 90% of the test, and then on like question 58, you get it wrong and they're like, sorry, you failed the whole test. I just don't like that idea. I don't mind ramping up difficulty, but I don't like difficulty spikes where it's like easy, impossible, then boring, easy for a while, then impossible. That's not fun. You're not beating the game at that point, you're just beating that section, because the rest of the game is effortless. The game is a little too long. It could have been one stage shorter. I think that would have made it better. And like I said, it feels like a mashup of Gradius R-Type and even Darius in a way. The enemy designs, patterns, whole sections of levels are just like lifted from these other games. There are like sections that are just like out of Gradius 3, and there are sections that are just out of like R-Type. And I think that's honestly why this game succeeds, is because the developers stole their best ideas from other games. And is that fair? Do you reward someone for that? That you're like, oh, this part's really good, but it's like almost exactly the same as it is in an arcade classic? The scoring in this game's really easy. It's kind of an afterthought. You just don't get hit. You grab all the power-ups you've already picked up. You just keep adding to your multiplier. I don't think this is a high-scoring game. I think this is more of a game where you're really focusing on survival. You just want to beat the game, or you want to beat the game without having to continue. You know, that sort of game, not racking up a giant high score. The game's too slow and plodding for that kind of gameplay. Now, Satazius and Satazius Next, both of them are on this collection. They're basically the same with just updated graphics. It's fine. There are many other better shoot-'em-ups to play to occupy your time. But if you've already played everything, kind of like I have, this is okay. Like I said, its best points are that it like stole really good parts from other games, for lack of a better way of describing it. So I don't know, I think it's okay. I'd give Satazius like a 6 out of 10. It's good, but it's not great.